Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. Today we're going to do a little bit of a market update. I've got a couple articles that I want to go over. The first one being about the debut of the 2025 Nissan Frontiers, and then the other two are talking about EV trucks, specifically the Chevy Silverado. Earlier today when I was working, I was driving and I saw a Cybertruck. And I started just kind of thinking about EV trucks in general and the issues with them and a lot of the reasons that people don't want to buy them. So I was planning on kind of talking about that in the video. I just didn't get around to making it earlier today. So when I came home and was doing a little bit of research on the truck market, I came across an article. So kind of worked out to be the best time to talk about it. But before we get to the EV crap, let's get started on the Nissan Frontiers. So the new 2025s just debuted, and in this article is talking about how the Nissan Frontier kind of battles the Chevy Colorado and the GMC Canyon, and I think they're spot on. I think the biggest competitor right now to GM is definitely going to be Nissan, specifically with their mid-size trucks, and a lot of that to me comes down to that truck being the only one that I know of that still is being produced with the naturally aspirated V6. All of these other manufacturers are going with these turbo 4-cylinders just to meet these regulations by the government and all that good crap. But Nissan is the only company that I know of that is basically saying, screw the EPA, whatever we're supposed to do to get these bonuses for making these trucks that'll be better for the environment. Nissan just says, to hell with that. I don't care about these bonuses. This is what the people want. So I'm excited about the new 2025s. Actually, when I was looking at getting my Colorado, the Frontier was one of the highest contenders. It was kind of between the Nissan Frontier and the Chevy Colorado. A lot of it came down to the interior as well. I wanted something that was comfortable. And the 2024 Frontiers, to me, on the interiors, they were still outdated. Luckily, they have addressed that in the new 2025, so we'll kind of go over that. First thing to know, just from looking at it, it doesn't look a whole lot different from their previous generation. I do, to an extent, like this orange color that they're coming out with for the 2025s. I'm typically not, one who likes these flashy red colors, bright colors, and all that. But I do think that this, what they're calling an afterburn orange, does look pretty nice. So, got some music playing. Sorry about that. All right, yeah. So, it looks good. It looks good. I like it personally. I wouldn't buy something in that orange color. But I definitely can see the appeal to it as well. So a couple of things to note off the bat. So increased towing and hauling capabilities, which is huge. It's always great when manufacturers can kind of push their trucks to the next limit and increase any specs of their vehicles. So 17-inch alloy wheels, very nice. Got so the towing capacity increased from 6,640 up to 7,150, so that's a quarter ton. Yeah, I think that is a good amount to increase it for sure. This here as well, the 6-foot long bed configuration, still with a mid-size truck, those are one of the only ones that I know of that still offer that 6-foot bed, where everybody else is moving to not only just the 4-cylinder turbos but the 5-foot beds. So being able to get a 6-cylinder with a 6-foot bed in the market today for an affordable price as well, it's another thing they have going for them. I think it's a fantastic thing. So I think they're doing great. So going to the interior, so 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen, which is awesome. It's going to be in your higher trim levels, where you get standard with an 8-inch display, which is standard on all the other models as well. So wireless are going from wired, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay to wireless, which is also a great thing to see. And then your safety features, so the lane departure warning, I love that in my truck, especially the blind spot warning. High beam assist, I haven't even really used that in my truck. And then the intelligent or adaptive cruise control. So these are now standard instead of being offered in an optional technology package. So when I got my Colorado, I had to get the technology package if I wanted those same features that they're offering as a standard thing in the new Frontiers. I actually saw when I was looking for my Colorado, there was a Colorado up in, I believe it was Tennessee, that I was interested in getting, and they were like extremely aggressively priced. It was a ZR2, it was like $43,000. So I hit them up and I asked them, and essentially they didn't have the tech package on there, right? So they didn't have any lane departure warnings, no blind spot warning. They might have blind spot warning, or the intelligent cruise control, or I don't even know if it had regular cruise control, to be honest with you. So I ended up, obviously skipping on that and getting what I've got now. But to have these as an offer for a standard thing in the truck, I think all manufacturers should be doing that. It blew my mind that I had to add a specific package to get adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, and all that. Like, that should be in 2024, should be a standard with really any vehicle nowadays. So moving on to their engines, so 3.8 liter V6, 310 horsepower, 281 pounds of torque, and a 9-speed automatic transmission. So, all those are great. They're going to have a rear-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive. Obviously, most people are probably going to go with the four-wheel drive on that. So, this is, Nissan is continuing to do great things. I'm curious to see what their price point is going to be around. I know when I was looking, I could get, a decked out Pro 4X anywhere between like $40,000 to $43,000. So, I think their trucks are starting in the low 30s. So to be able to get a mid-sized truck in the low 30s in 2024 is crazy. So good on Nissan for saying screw these EPA regulations. We're gonna make the truck that the people want. So we'll go through, just kind of look at a couple of these photos here. The front, I think the front is a nice aggressive look. I didn't have a problem with the front ends on the 2024s either. It's a great looking truck all around. If you kind of go through here, like then you add the bed rails, I'm sure that's obviously an option that you can add on there for a little bit more money. Pro 4X badging, built-in shocks, just a nice looking vehicle. So this is, although they did update the interior, it still, to me, looks a little bit dated. Now, I know that these trucks are, extremely affordable in terms of a mid-sized truck, but, all of this here, it just still kind of looks dated, right? I don't know what it is about it, but like even this little display here to show, the temperature of your AC, and this knob for your four-wheel drive, I just think it looks a little bit like 2014s, 2013s, like kind of in that era. So, like I said, I do understand that this is a cheaper mid-sized truck, but even just updating these knobs here and just changing this out, if you just change out your shifter for your four-wheel drive into like a knob that looks something like this here, I think this would actually make this entire area look a little bit more like a 2024 or a 2025. Nice big screen. Looks like they're gonna have a lot of camera systems on there. So your backup camera, your side view camera. I'm sure they're gonna have like the 360 overhead view camera. I'm not too big of a fan of this Frontier logo right here in the center. It just kind of is a little bit bold and just sticks out a little bit to me. So it's not my favorite feature. And kind of the same thing with these seats. They look comfortable. Obviously, I'm sure you can get the leather is an upgrade. But I like a simple looking, seat. I don't like all these crazy designs on it. The badging is fine. I think that looks, it's tasteful, looks good. But with all these patterns and all that, it's a little bit, too much for me as well. This is one thing that I like to see, which was surprising that I don't have on the Colorado. Honestly, to be honest, I never even used it in my F-150, but just to have that place to store your sunglasses, never used the F-150, but I was like, man, I was surprised that the Colorados didn't have it. The other thing that I like about this, see if I get a different angle, is, here we go. So your wireless charging bay, it looks like it is back here near the center console. When I was looking at getting a Colorado, I actually rented one off of Turo to drive down to Florida on vacation with my wife. And I think it was like a 2021 or 2022 Colorado, so it still had the charging bay back here. And I actually prefer it over the wireless charging bay in the new generations, just because up here with the wireless charger in the new Colorados, like, you can't put anything in here except for your phone. So having your wireless charging bay back here near the center console leaves all of this room here for storage. And that was one of my, bigger complaints with, the Colorados is the lack of storage that they had. But all in all, I think that this truck is going to do well. Like I said, I'm excited to see what their price point is. But overall, I think they'll do great in the marketplace. All right, so moving on to the EV. So the 2025 Chevy Silverado EV pricing has been uncovered. Super excited, as you can tell, for the EV Silverados. One, I just think they're impractical. Two, I think they look terrible as well. And three, they're just too expensive. So 2025 Chevy Silverado lineup starts at the 2WT standard range is $59,000. What this $59,000 gets you is 170 miles with a full battery. 170 miles. That's all you get. You're spending, with taxes, dock fees, and all that crap, you're spending probably $65,000 to get 170 miles on a truck. And that's just their entry level one, right? So that's my first biggest gripe. Let's see here. The next one is the 5WT, and it's 71. I'm sorry. The other one is the where is it? The 2WT, which is 69, and then the extended range, their like longest driving one, is 71,395, which is $3,500 below the 2024s. So here's the problem that they're gonna have, right? There are a ton of 2024 EV Silverados on the market right now. So now this news drops, and there's gonna be they can't sell them. So then you've got a 2025 coming out in probably, I would assume, just a couple of months, and it's gonna be $3,500 less than the 2024s. And we know if they're not selling the 2024s, they're not going to be selling the 2025s. So when they do eventually sell a few, right? Nobody's going to buy the 2024s if the 2025s are $3,500 less. I mean, it's common sense, right? So I think, Chevy and even Ford and their Lightnings are going to be sitting with these trucks for a while. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants to drive them. And I've got a real world example I'm going to show you guys here in just a moment. So there is six different, trims going up to $80,000. It's just, it's crazy. So the 2024 3WT trim, which is, what is that? That's their mid-range, has a range of 393 miles. So I'm sure the 2025s are going to be similar. So people just, they don't want these trucks. I would love, if you are an EV truck lover, please feel free to give me reasons why. Change my mind in the comment section down below. I'm open to having my mind changed on these EV vehicles, trucks, but just vehicles in general, right? We just don't have the capacity to house all of the electricity needed to charge. If half the population gets an EV vehicle, we can't even handle the charging as it is currently. So how are we going to handle it, when the government is pushing us to all drive EV vehicles? It's just not going to happen, right? So dealers offering deep discounts on the Chevy Silverado EV WT. So this article is, 4 days old, right? So they're offering deep discounts, obviously, because they cannot sell them, and now they're coming out with the 2025. So I think that Chevy is in a tough spot when it comes to the EV market. You got discounts on the 2024s up to $5,200. They've got their bonus cash as well included in some of those pricing. So $5,000 incentive at Chevy in Carson City, Nevada. So it doesn't matter where you are in the U.S. People are not buying these. The only place that I can imagine that people are buying these vehicles are possibly in California, and I think honestly that's even a stretch as well. So good luck to Chevy on these, but for me it's just not it. So let's go over the real world example kind of idea that I had about these EVs and what it would look like if you were taking a trip from Atlanta down to Florida with your family. So this is a trip that my wife and I like to take a couple times a year, is going from Atlanta, where we live, down to St. Pete Beach, Florida, right? So as you can see here, if you just drive straight, you never stop, it is 7 hour drive, right? So you throw in stops maybe for lunch, to use the restroom, take a break or whatever. So call it 8 hours. We usually get there in about 8 hours time, right? So this here, if you look in the bottom right, this example is going to be on a Ford F-150 Lightning. So I've got this generously set with a 100% battery level. So if we're starting in Atlanta, we have 100% battery. Say there's 4 people in the vehicle. So this could be, 2 adults and 2 children, or 2 people with the luggage, chairs, coolers, and all the crap they're going to haul down to Florida with them. Tire pressure, standard, nothing crazy there. User behavior. So this is like your acceleration, right? We're not going to some sporty acceleration or driving eco mode and speed limiter. So say you're averaging 70 miles an hour, right? I'm sure most of us are probably driving 75, 80, 85. Some of you crazy people are probably out there driving 90 down to get to Florida, wherever you're going on vacation. But for this example, we've got it at an average of 70 miles an hour. So the route you would take from Atlanta to get down to St. Pete would be basically hopping on 75 South and just taking the whole way there. So let's take a look and see how many times we would have to stop and how much time it would take to stop to charge a vehicle, a Ford F-150 Lightning, on just a trip down to Florida. So this here is showing you your range, right? So if we look at our map here, as you can see, you got Warner Robins. Warner Robins is right here, right? So your first stop is just going to be in Warner Robins. It's not even that far from Atlanta. So when I looked it up, how long does it take to charge an F-150 Lightning from 0 or from 15 to 80%? It says it's 41 minutes. So let's be realistic here and say you're not charging to 100%. Let's just say it takes 30 minutes to charge. I don't think that you can get a good enough charge in 30 minutes to continue your trip, but we'll just for, math's sake, we'll just say it takes 30 minutes. So the very first place you're going to stop is Warner Robins, because I guarantee you in this area here, there's not going to be any chargers available. If there are, they're probably not superchargers, right? So if we take a look at kind of this range area here, where's our next stop going to be? So as we continue down, so we're in Warner Robins, right? We're going to have to stop in Valdosta, right? So this is going to be our next stop, because in this area between Valdosta and Gainesville, there's probably not going to be too many superchargers or chargers available. So our first stop in Warner Robins is 30 minutes. So that makes it a 7.5 hour drive. Then you stop another time in Valdosta, right? That's going to add another 30 minutes of time there. So that's an hour. So now we're going from 7 to 8 hours. Next stop, we're going to stop in Gainesville, right? That's another 30 minutes. We're going to go right through Gainesville, Florida. So that's another hour and a half. If you're lucky, you'll make it to St. Pete. But my bet is, because you're probably not charging all the way to 100 because you want to get back on the road, you're probably going to have to stop in Tampa, right? So that 7-hour drive from Atlanta down to St. Pete is going to go from 7 hours to 9 hours. And then you take an hour for, a stop for lunch, or stop and use the restroom on the way, whatever the case is. So now you're looking at a 10-hour drive in an EV just to get, down to St. Pete Beach, right? A lot of times, I'm sure even when you're stopping at these chargers, you're probably going to spend more than 30 minutes there, probably maybe even up to an hour. So your trip, just, a 7-hour trip could turn into 11 or 12 hours with these EVs, right? That's why nobody wants them. You cannot get very far. They're unreliable. The battery, if you have to replace the battery's extremely expensive, to replace in those things. So, For now, I can't see in any foreseeable future me in a EV of any sort, whether it is a truck, a car, or whatever the case is. So that's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you are an EV truck lover, if you think EV trucks are the way to go. Convince me, change my mind on why I should buy an EV truck, or Americans should buy EV vehicles in general. Be curious to hear your opinions. And please, subscribe to the video. I do have a 100 subscriber giveaway coming up here. We're at like 60 or 70 subscribers right now. So first giveaway we're going to do is at 100 subscribers. There's a poll on my channel for you guys if you want to go and vote what you want that giveaway to be. There's a few different options for you to choose from, or you can type in your own comments. So whatever gets the most likes or votes or comment that has the most likes, we'll go with that as our giveaway. As long as, if you comment something, it's not, $1,000, for a giveaway or whatever. Keep it reasonable. And we'll do that giveaway here at 100 subscribers. And like I said, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next one.